For this story to make sense about adult fishing, I need to tell you something that happened to me, less than a year before I went out adult fishing. And I was on my way to Minot and noticed on the side of the road that there was this eagle sitting in a tree. And I don't know what possessed me to start counting eagles after that, but I started counting eagles and I started seeing them very often. And as of today, so this is December 2011, I've seen 53 eagles. Some of which, I don't know if, I got to see their white heads and their tails in order for me to identify them, and sometimes they're a little too far away. So anyway, that's the eagle story, and it'll make sense later. Adult fishing. I went with 5 other friends up to Rainy Lake, and in preparation for my adult fishing, I consulted my 6-year-old great-nephew and his dad, and I had enough fishing, and my intent was to catch a lot of walleye, so I had a lot of Lindy rig equipment, if you know what Lindy rigs are. So that was my intent, and so we go out fishing and we catch a lot of bass. And enough bass for four of us or so to have a meal of fish. I did, by the way, catch a walleye within seconds of putting my first ever Lindy rig down. Within seconds, I caught a walleye too big to keep, and I had to throw it away. But back to I had to put it back in. I didn't throw it away, excuse me. It's not ecologically sound to say that. So my friend Mike and I, we went out, thanks Mike, fishing, and he was teaching me how to fish, and we caught a lot of bass, and so I had to fillet them, and that's not an easy thing for me to do because I don't like to touch them much. And so I did that, and I got out my cooler and my little fillet knife that I had prepared to bring along to do all those walleye, and so I'm paying very much attention to how I'm filleting the fish and how I that I get each fillet, because there wasn't that many fish, and we needed all the fillets we could get. And so I did that, and then that night for supper we prepared the fish, and I realized that there was one fillet was missing. And I knew I had messed up because and it was probably a big fillet, and there's just enough fish to go around. So we're sitting at the table in the front of this houseboat in this screened-in porch area, and we're talking about the missing fillet. And so what I did, I filleted the fish, and it says you're supposed to, in the books, you're supposed to lay it under the water about that far so that the birds can come and get them. And the seagulls were coming to get the fish, and we were noticing that. And just while we were eating this fillet of fish, not more than maybe 50 feet or so away from the boat, this eagle came down, picked up the fillet, and I got to feed the eagle.